Thanks for joining me for yet another reading of A Boy Superhero's Dreams Come True by Eric B., author of the Night Crusader series. Mind if I come in? Michael asked. Sure, Teresa animatedly replied, but please, by all means. She unlocked the car doors and Michael super sped into the back seat. Of course, he startled Teresa and Max, but they did not mind. In fact, they were ecstatic. Michael leaned forward and crossed his arms so that his left elbow landed atop Teresa's seat while his right elbow landed atop Max's. Teresa started rubbing Michael's arm and hand and in disbelief that she was actually touching a superhuman. Teresa, Michael said somewhat softly, why don't you pull over to that vacant spot? As he pointed to an unoccupied area on the side of the road. Teresa did so and was grateful Michael prompted her away from the middle of the street. As soon as Teresa said eagerly, anything. And Michael said, if there was anything in the world you could do with a day alone with a superhero, what would that thing be? Max hardly felt the need to ponder as he blurted out, I would love to fly around with a superhero and see him fight bad guys and take him with me to school to show him off to my friends. Teresa grinned, and so did Michael. That's amazing, Max, Michael could not resist stating. Sounds like a day no youngster would ever forget. You bet it is, Max said emphatically. I'll tell you what, Max, why don't we discuss this further over a nice, calm, relaxing get-together this evening? Max's eyes widened once again as Michael continued, how about a Sunday with me this evening? And Max said, that would be awesome. Then Michael turned his head and said, Teresa, I hope I'm not being too presumptuous, but is there any way you would consider allowing your son to have an ice cream sundae with me? Yeah. Would I? Teresa belted out with incredible ecstatic energy. Try and restrain me. Michael grinned. Max was extremely excited as well. About a minute later, though, Max became curious. Michael? And then Michael said, yes, Max? Then Max said, why me? Then Michael said, why not you? Then Max said, well, what I mean is, there's got to be a lot of kids who would love to hang out with a real-life superhero. What's so special about me? Teresa was almost in tears over her son's inquiry. She turned very curiously toward Michael as he answered, Max, there had to have been over 100 people who saw what I did at that expressway. But only you alone, ran up to me and threw your arms around me. Made me realize that you've been looking for a hero for a long time. I'm here to be the hero you are looking for. Max smiled. Michael held out his hand, and Max shook his hand. Okay, kid, Michael said. I'm going to go. Time for your mama to get you to school. We'll meet again this evening. Teresa hurriedly removed her seatbelt and turned to press a passionate lock upon Michael's lips, catching him by surprise. Max had a look of shock on his face, comparable to Michael's, but neither said a word about the gesticulation. Instead, Michael asked Teresa for the address of their residence and told the pair to expect his arrival at 6 p.m. that evening. The two of them promised to be prepared. Throughout the day, Max was barely able to concentrate at school, nor could Teresa at work, because of the preceding experience. Yet both contained their anxious anticipation to see and hang out with Michael as best they could. Teresa had told her husband about the experience via phone call from her workplace to his, as Max to his sister once he and Michaela arrived home from school that afternoon. Michaela was excited, but her father did not believe what he was told. Rather, he was miffed and expressed his disappointment with Teresa, quote, indulging Max's fantasies, unquote, and, quote, getting his hopes up, unquote. Thank you for joining us for another reading of A Boy's Superhero Dream Comes True by Eric B., author of the Night Crusader series.